And welcome back. We're taking your questions about veterans, veterans issues, veterans affairs, Camp Lejeune, anything having to do with veterans. We're here to honor you tonight and take your questions live on the air. 850-392-1544 is the number. Or you can email us at lawcall@wmbv.com. That's lawcall@wmbv.com. Mike, we were talking about the veterans and the importance of getting your service records. Now, back in the early 1970s, there was a massive fire.
Yes.
St. Louis, the National Personnel Records Center, 16 to 18 million service members' records were destroyed. I repeat, 16 to 18 million service members' records were destroyed. Now, people are saying, oh, I have a VA portal I can get on any time. Oh, I can log in. Folks, you got to take protection. You got to help yourself.
That's right.
And so even if you have a portal, download those records, put them on a thumb drive, and secure it somewhere. If you need to, password protect the thumb drive, but secure your records. Mike, we were talking, with Camp Lejeune, how could that have an effect on you? And even with VA disability, I mean, this happened in the 1970s, but it took a while for them to recreate. All those records were lost, but to recreate a way to preserve records and even finding those records, what are some of the issues that arise when a service member does not have their medical records?
Well, you have to recreate or show some type of proof, the connection that you were at a certain duty station and the type of injury occurred that was there at that particular time. So if you don't have service records, and we actually have one of those instances with one of our clients where there are no medical records in existence from the VA, from the archives, or family members, nothing. In that situation, you have to track down an individual that knows him, that we can look into maybe a shipmate or a fellow soldier that was stationed with him, any photographs that he may have had that's laying around. You have to show some type of evidence that you were there. And the fact that all the records were lost during that particular time, in this case the St. Louis fire, then with that additional evidence, they will accept that.
Yeah. There is a service record number called a DD-214. Mike, quickly, what is that?
A DD-214 is a basic summary of your time in service, how long you were in, the awards that you were given, and the type of discharge that you received. That's a great starting point of any type of military service to show you how long that you were in. But don't confuse your time in service with your military medical records. Your time in service shows you where you were, when you were there, and the duty stations. Your medical records shows all the intricacies of the type of injuries that occurred during your time in service.
Now, we have a lot of people in our area, and I want you to listen closely about this because this, is direct from one of my cases, that did clandestine work, black operations, going all the way back to Vietnam. Yeah. And so when we got the gentleman's DD-214, it had this blank space in it. Not redacted, just missing. And he's like, well, I was in service and this is what happened to me. And you talk about the photographs, you talk about it. Well, guess what? In the 1970s, there was something called Polaroid cameras. And you took the picture, you shook it off, everybody blow dried it, or not blow dried it, but blew on it to shake it to make sure that it was there. And that's how we proved the gentleman's case. We did find a service member who was with him. The Polaroids were disturbing.
Right.
To be honest. I'm not going to say what was on them, but they were disturbing. But fortunately, he had preserved those to show that he was in service in Vietnam, in this area. And I'm not going to say conclusive proof, but I can tell you it was pretty overwhelming at that point once we submitted that. And the moment we submitted that, everything ended and he got paid.
Oh, yeah.
And, even in the Camp Lejeune cases, we're talking about, we settled a child's case, a child that passed away. Yes, and one of the records that we submitted was a photograph.
Yes.
It was a photograph of the child and the siblings of the child taking a bath in the kitchen sink, right?
Yes. Yes, some pretty bad stuff.
Yeah, I mean, it's, when we're all kids, back then, our parents used to wash us in the sink, they'd wash us in the tub, whatever. I mean, they'd wash us anywhere they could, anywhere they could get a hose pipe after me, because I was a little hellion. But, those little simple things right there, you don't think about them, but, they can be very important. Let's talk briefly about the vocational aspect that's available to veterans and the vocational rehabilitation that's available to veterans upon their discharge from the military.
That's it. And this is such a great resource here. That's so many times, especially people that spend long careers in 20 years, 30 years, and people, even if you spent four years honorable discharge, if you're 30% disabled or greater, you can submit for vocational rehabilitation. That will pay for college, it will pay for VOTEC school, it will pay for your tools, computers, everything that you need to complete an education so you can be a productive individual in society again, because maybe your disability has set you up in a situation where you no longer could do what you were able to do in the military. So voc rehab is something that you go to the VA, you apply, and you want to submit your end goal. You don't say you want to get a degree in American history. You say you want to be a teacher. You know, you want to be a college professor. You want to be an engineer. So that way you get all the education and tools that you need to wind up where you want to be.
And that's, you sacrificed, you were willing to put your life on the line for this country. And, the number of veterans that we have now, Mike, is what percentage of the American population?
In the American population, there's a 6% of American veterans. If you go back to the 1970s, it was about 18%.
So 6% of you out there are willing to lay your life out on the line. With a given phone call at any given moment, you run toward where the problem is anywhere in the world to protect our freedom. The other 94% of us will gladly support you.
And we do want to bring up the active duty guys, because there's less than 1% of active duty military in the United States out of the population.
So, you got active duty, you've got the 6% that are veterans. We're here to support you. You are in our time of need. You're the 1% that are, truly the 1% standing guard, tip of the spear.
1%ers.
Yeah, the 1%ers who are out there. We can't thank you enough for what you're doing for us and the sacrifice that you're making, as well as your families, because it's not an easy task at all. I mean, you may have a family member that gets a forward deployment.
Oh, yeah.
They're not all cushy like Tyndall Air Force Base. They're not all cushy, like Hurlburt Field. They're not all cushy like the one up in Enterprise. I mean, at the old Fort Rucker. You sometimes have to go into harm's way, and we have service members within our office. Children of some of our paralegals that are forward deployed. We've got a deployment right now with the Reapers. We've got a deployment that's over somewhere in the Middle East. We can't talk about it. Not supposed to know where it is. I don't know where it is, so how about that? I know it's got a lot of sand around it. That's all I know. And we've got those forward deployments, and I can tell you that the family members stay up every night, worrying and praying for their children. And so if you don't know a veteran, or if you do see a veteran, especially over this next week, thank them for their service. Be genuine in it, because they really do protect our way of life here in the United States. So, Mike, and thank you as well.